So, for example, if I said enemies, the answer would be
Friends.
There you go. There is no opposite of Seinfeld, is what I found.
You tried.
I tried.
What's a feld? If I'm felding something,
Well, in the 13th century, a feld used to refer to this.
Okay, so I was having some conversations whilst I was away about food in the cinema.
Here we go.
And I've got this problem where, like, 2025, James, meant to try and just cut down on the popcorn and the sugar, the monkey. I had cake pops, I had 3. And a listener of our show even came up to me whilst I was holding a cake pop. Being like,
Esme, yes.
Esme.
Yes.
And said, James, what the hell's going on? Like, you said you were going to clean up your act. And I was caught red-handed with a bloody cake pop, with a monkey being like, no, that's not what it looks like. I'm not eating. I've been starving all day. And I was having conversations with my family about food in the cinema, and we covered all of like the bases about hot food, cold food, crunchy food being loud. Yeah. And we were really trying to figure out like what would be a good, healthy snack that's not like so distracting to take in, but is like a little midpoint. And we were thinking, and I might actually do this, and I wonder if you're going to find it annoying, I might do hummus and carrot sticks.
No. Because there's too much motion involved there, actually. That's
not
so
much more than rustling in a popcorn.
Hummus, I like, don't get me wrong, like hummus and carrots.
Hummus and carrots.
It's fragrant. It's quite fragrant, especially if you
can be
and I
fragrant.
bet you'd go for really nice hummus because you're a man of taste,
I do like
which
nice
means it's
hummus.
more fragrant. and it's
red
also
pepper.
it just requires a little bit. Also, there's more risk there with hummus being dripped accidentally on other things.
Can I trial it? Would it really irritate you if I trialed it?
I also think that the crunch of a carrot is just as loud as popcorn.
But I'm having popcorn.
I'm happy for you to try it, James, because it is a healthier snack. I would also recommend a banana.
Don't like bananas.
I know this is the thing, but if you think just in principle, though, a banana would be a good snack because it's silent, self-contained.
They stink.
They don't stink.
Bananas stink.
They do not stink.
But
They are mildly fragrant.
No.
And hummus is fine.
I'm not saying hummus doesn't stink. I think bananas stink, and you've got it's a residual fruit problem. You've got like some fruits have remaining things. Like grapes have the stems.
What about grapes?
Oranges
Would you
have the
grapes?
pips. I was thinking about grapes. Grapes are good.
Yes.
I was thinking blueberries are sort of cleaner.
Sliced apple.
They go brown if you've sliced it.
No, well, not necessarily.
And then to eat an apple is quite a loud
I think it
thing.
go brown if you slice them
And
many
I'm
hours
holding
beforehand. You can also buy pre-packed sliced apple, which is not very cost or environmentally effective.
I'm not a
but
psychopath, though, bringing pre-sliced apple into the cinema.
Hey, you want to be healthy, James.
I know.
If you think about it, what's stranger? Eating pre-sliced apple or eating sort of this awfully homogenized, calcified popcorn garbage?
It's terrible. It's terrible. And you know me, George, I have 3 bags.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I wouldn't. Also, you're allowed a cake pop. That's fine. That's a novelty
I am allowed
thing.
a
That
cake
was
pop.
that was new. That was part of the experience. But I agree.
And it was. I will reiterate. It was a bloody good
really
cake
good.
pop.
Probably
The best cake pop I've ever had. We covered this already.
but also the highlight of the evening. It was better than the film.
Yeah, it was better than the film.
But I think I agree. After many, many weeks, you don't want to be having the popcorn.
No.
Repeatedly.
We're doing this, as we said the other day. We're doing this 1 to 2 times a week. We're
adds up.
seeing films in this like lovely, and it's free popcorn. Hey, popcorn's expensive. And I think that's where I'm like, oh, popcorn's usually like £6 a bucket.
James, I think the best snack you could have is a soft white roll. No, it doesn't have to be white. A soft bread roll with limited filling.
Soft bread roll with limited filling.
Like just butter in it, or perhaps butter and cheese, like sort of Scandinavian
Am I
butter and cheese
preparing
roll.
this at home, or am I buying it out?
You prepare at home.
bring
That's
it.
within your abilities.
It's a sandwich.
It's a sandwich, but,
It requires
crucially
like,
the
I
filling.
need to make it, whereas like I can go to the shop
James,
on the way.
you have
to
cheese
the
in
thing.
your fridge.
No, I know I have cheese.
you
I'm
know.
saying I can't make a sandwich. It's like it requires the thought. I just want to live without thought.
Unfortunately, James, if one wants to be healthy in this life, they have to. You have to think ahead.
Thinking ahead, you
That's
gotta
that sad
prepare.
thing.
I know.
When I went to see Mickey 17 last week, went with the Bond correspondent of the show, took Benedict
show,
Townsend,
yeah.
and he came out. He took the bag of popcorn with him, and he was like, I've got this for the road. And I was like, the thing is, Benedict, James and I have tiers of popcorn that you get at screenings. That is the lowest bag. It's the JB American looking popcorn. That is the bottom rung.
It's not good.
Then there's the proper kitchen popcorn, which is better, but not ideal. And then above that, sometimes you get boutique ones. I don't quite know, but above that for us is the freshly made in an open bucket, which sometimes can be left out and go stale.
Yeah.
But if it's hot
If you
and fresh,
caught the bottom of a batch.
no.
Yeah.
But if you're at an event and they've freshly scooped it for you, that's
Do you
the
remember
best
when
thing.
Proper Snacks gave us loads of popcorn for our quiz?
Yes.
And in my flat, there was just like boxes and boxes of
Do
popcorn
I?
left over. And we just, for a
Well, no
while,
sliced apples those days.
Oh yeah, we were just popping the corn. Yeah, it's great. I want to say more, please, by all means.
But we try to be healthy, but also we try to enjoy life. That's the thing.
Yeah,
You know what,
it's
James?
like-
The thing is, you should just do what I do, which is just try not to eat during the cinema.
Well, my hack is I chew gum. Because then it's like if I have
You
something
Adrian
in my
Brody
mouth,
it.
I go to get and I go, well, hang on, there's gum in my mouth. Or hang on, I'm eating a snack. Or hang on, put that down, man. God damn you. I'll never get it right. I'll report back. But I think coming to a cinema near you, I will be there with a guac, a tzatziki, a hummus, and carrot sticks.
A charcuterie board would be better, James, I think, as well. You can't take that with you, but that's fragrant as well.
I've got to see, I've got to wrap my cheese.
I think a soft bread roll with limited filling. I will say that also when you consume a massive bag of popcorn like that, also we're not food shaming anyone here.
No,
if you
not
need
at
to,
all,
go
not
ahead.
at all.
But I've had that feeling where like been very hungry at these screenings, and they rightfully feed you because you feel better when you eat. You know, smash the bag.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I can literally feel like the civil servant in my stomach, the bureaucratic officer who's just received this delivery
Sodium.
of sodium and corn, being like, "What have you done to me?
Yeah.
What all this
You're gonna
oil,
pay
all
later
covered
tonight,
fiber?
yeah.
What can I do with this? I'm still hungry. There's
Yeah.
no nutritional value. You know, he's looking through the clipboard, going, "What is
And why such a vast quantity?
any vitamins here? No. So
Is
you
that
just give me
another bag?
It's like delivering someone a box and it's just full of the polyester filling, and there's actual no delivery in there.
Make
Just-
a meal out of this.
Anyway, welcome to episode 171.
Most middle class opening of a podcast ever.
Hey, guys, food is important. Food is important when you go to the cinema. Welcome to episode 171 of Pulp Kitchen. Today, we'll be talking about Mickey 17, Bong Joon-ho's new film, the director of Parasite and Snowpiercer and Okja and many other things. I've had a chance to go see it. I'll be talking about it today. Also, stay tuned for some extra reviews coming out this week. I have gone and seen Incendies or Incendie based purely on the recommendation from a few sirens.
Many sirens.
Many
I'd say, over the
sirens, I
years.
would say, over the years have trickled in. And my friends and I went to see it with my friends Dan and Ellie at their house. And that's interesting also about the snackage, because it's the first time I've watched a film with them at their, on their turf.
They go all out.
Well, no, it was like, I was being respectful. I'm like, whatever. We had dinner beforehand. There was a moment where they were like, should we eat with the film? And I was like, nope. Because this isn't a bag of popcorn. This is hot food, and this is a serious film.
Yeah.
So we ate the food, and then there was halfway through the film we had a minor intermission, which is allowed.
Of course.
And then a tub of like the M&S Rocky Road stuff came out.
So good.
And I was like, I haven't had this since like a year 8 Leavers Day or something. Got that. Delicious.
I like the chocolate swirly ones and the crunchy cornflake bites.
Stop it. Yeah, delicious. And the snackage was minimal but appreciated.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's coming out later this week. A review of Denis Villeneuve's movie Incendies, Incendie, which I think I recommend people listen to if you are a fan of Denis Villeneuve or want to understand his filmography in a different way. And also, don't forget, we'll also be talking. We'll be reading through some emails in the episode, and we'll also be finishing as ever with the game.
Boom, boom.
So, James, Mickey 17, which is the new film from Bong Joon-ho, his first film since Parasite, which came out 5 years ago, won Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, won Best Picture at the Oscars, and was in many ways a masterpiece.
Fantastic.
A film I haven't yet revisited, but I'm keen to. I think it was one of the best films I saw in years. I really have very great memories of seeing
Surprise
Parasite.
in the best way, that type of film. Brilliant. It totally grabbed you.
Absolutely excellent. And his follow-up now with Mickey 17 is a film that I think it's worth saying that if you're expecting a film like Parasite, it's not. It's a film much similar to his previous work, Snowpiercer and Okja. I didn't actually see Okja, but like Snowpiercer, and I'm aware of what Okja touches on, is themes of satirical themes to do with politics and power. Mickey 17 is best described. It's quite a strange film in it, and quite a unique film. I would describe as a science fiction satire set about 25 years in the future, in which Robert Pattinson plays a petty criminal who needs to leave Earth immediately because he is in some trouble with some goons. He and Stephen Yeun need to leave, and so he signs up to be an expendable on this new space endeavor. Which is headed by a brilliantly panto-like Mark Ruffalo playing a Republican. I think he's Republican. I don't mind. Sorry, it might be given a political party, but it's like he's a former congressman. Sorry, is what I meant to say. Former congressman and presidential candidate who speaks in a very distinctive way, and I will say. Begins the film, you go, oh, he's a sort of Trump-esque character. And by the end of the movie, you go, that's Trump. He just gave up.
Ruffalo seems, I haven't seen this, but he seems to having these like separate wings. He's got his very straight Spotlight, Dark Waters,
yes.
gruffly Mark Gruffalo. And then he's got his poor things, broad, over the top. Hey, I'm being creative and fun, Mark Ruffalo.
And even though his dictator impression in this is so quite transparently and bluntly like a Trump figure, I love funny Ruffalo. I've all time for funny Ruffalo. So he's good in this. And how it works with Mickey is he signs up to be an expendable, which means that he's basically going to become cheap expendable labor. And how it works in this mission is that he will be given the most dangerous tasks, and in so doing, he will probably likely die. He'll be like a guinea pig, okay? And when he dies, a new 3D version of himself will be printed out. So they scan him and say, exactly as you are now, that's how you'll be reprinted for the rest of time. So they scan him, and we have this kind of fun montage seeing what happened to all the previous Mickeys and the kind of things they're able to, and tasked to do, until eventually you get, of course, the 17th Mickey, Mickey 17 of the title. On this voyage in space, which is trying to find a new space colony, a new place to put the human race, he befriends and starts a romance with Naomi Aki's character, who's this security guard there. And at the end of, not the end of, but like towards the end of this space voyage, they find this planet called Niflheim, which is where they want to settle.
Like it's like a realm in God of War, which would be Nordic.
So some sort of Nordic thing.
Yeah,
well,
Niflheim.
Niflheim. And they want to settle on this. And of course, they send Mickey down first of all on the planet. And this is a planet which is icy and barren, but may have life underneath.
Norse mythology, the cold, dark, misty world of the dead, ruled by the goddess Hel.
So on this journey, it kind of cuts back and forth. You have a bit of media res, rather than you cut back and forth, and you have, all these sort of ethical and philosophical problems brought to the front. Like what in reprinting all these Mickeys, what happens when some of the Mickeys display different personality traits to the previous ones? Is that what constitutes a soul? What constitutes a person's life? And all people throughout the film keep saying to Mickey, by the way, Mickey, what's it like to die? And he sort of bristles at the question, because underneath this kind of fun premise is this inherent cruelty that he is cheap disposable labor, and he is a human life that is being sacrificed on the altar of greed and capitalism every day, essentially. This is a film about the ruinous legacy of capitalism and colonialism and slave labor and the undervaluing of human life and all life, actually. It has many broad political, ethical, philosophical themes that it's baking into the film. Is it a success in executing a film with all those strands? Maybe not entirely, but me personally, I had a pretty good time with Mickey 17. It's worth saying for context that it's got very mixed reviews, and I know a couple of people we noted the show who've given it really like 1-star reviews, really didn't like it at all. It's also, there's been this commentary about how Warner Brothers has essentially dumped this film and not known what to do with it, which is a real disappointment, because Bong Joon-ho is a really accomplished director, had this success with Parasite, and yes, this film is a strange satirical science fiction film, and it's like Warner Brothers didn't know how to sell it. They put it out at a very strange time of year, which is March, put it out at a time when Robert Pattinson was very tied up with other shooting projects, so couldn't promote it fully, and probably mismarketed it, and so already it's getting quite a frosty reception in its domestic performance and its box office performance elsewhere. However, I had a pretty good time with it. Yes, it's strange and it's peculiar and odd, but crucially, Bong Joon-ho is a great pair of hands, and I always felt like he knew exactly what he was doing. Even though some of the themes and the topics towards the end of the film become a little bit threadbare, become a little bit worn, become quite blunt, or maybe even dropped, I always felt that Bong Joon-ho was doing exactly what he wanted, and I never felt that he was uncertain about the story he wanted to tell. So although Warner Brothers might not have known what to have done with this film, Bong Joon-ho knew exactly what he was doing. And there are moments in this film that I think are just directed and delivered way better than you would expect it to be. The opening shot of the film is this really tight close-up of frost on an assumed deceased Robert Pattinson, and then he wipes the snow off and comes round, and it's just very poetically and artistically done in a way that I wouldn't expect that to be. And I really commended it for that. That's what stood out for me. So despite all its madness, I always felt that, yeah, Bong Joon-ho is telling the story he wants, and I feel comforted and confident in his presentation of it. I mean, some people say that, it's picked up on themes that he talked about, that he touched on in Snowpiercer and Okja. I don't have a problem with him raising those topics again. Crucially, at the centre of it is Robert Pattinson doing, I think, up there with one of my favourite Pattinson performances, to be honest.
It's very different as well.
It's very different. Robert Pattinson completely understands the strangeness of this film and completely knows how to capture that. His character, Mickey 17 rather, not Mickey 18, who comes into the story later, because, of course, the story opens with Mickey assumed deceased, but because he's assumed deceased, they then go and print another Mickey.
Problem.
And then there's a problem, but he's not actually dead. There you go, there's your movie. Is that in Mickey 17, he's this character who is kind of a bit cowardly, a bit weak, a bit scared.
He's not Batman.
He's not Batman, crucially. And he's been given this voice by Robert Pattinson that he said is specifically referencing the Steve Buscemi's voice in Fargo. Okay. And it's just really kind of like, what a piano, what are you doing? And there's a moment, it's almost like an uncanny impression.
Really?
And I think that's brilliant. I really think his whole energy in this film captured the comedic parts, the dramatic parts, and it works. And when there are two of them, it's a dual performance when there's Mickey 18 as well. And Mickey 18 is a different personality to Mickey 17. Mickey 18 is more violent, more aggressive, more mean. And that just works entirely. I think Naomi Ackie is great in it. It's great to see Stephen Yeun as well. I always like his presence. I think Toni Collette, who plays Mark Ruffalo's wife in it, is kind of underused a little bit, but still great to have her in here. And yeah, like I said about Mark Ruffalo, the sort of presentation of his character can get a little bit blunt, but I always enjoy him being funny in it. I always want to give a shout out to a wider selection of people in the cast who I enjoyed. So there's an actor in it called Daniel Henshall, who is an Australian actor who we chatted a lot with at Sundance. He was in Jim Park.
Yes, yeah.
And he's in this film as a sort of cross between Elon Musk and Joseph Goebbels. So just Elon Musk. And that's really funny. Is that bad? Should I not say that?
No, I'm trying to like butcher those two things together.
He's like,
I don't like what it looks like.
It's like a tech-savvy propagandist who's just sort of inflating the ego of Mark Ruffalo. Tim Key, who we also met at Sundance, turns up in a sort of surprise few scenes. And there's also a British actress in it who I really like called Patsy Farran, who's been in many things. She's on stage at the moment with Paul Mescal in Streetcar Named Desire. And she's in this, and I was like, oh, great. I'm so glad you're in this film because you deserve all the plaudits you get. I think it's... So what I'm broadly saying is I had a great time with it.
Okay.
And I think it mostly delivers. I think... No, I didn't come away thinking it's... observation about things like colonialism, capitalism, and greed are necessarily novel or profound or penetrating. However... I still had an amusing time. Is it funny? I wouldn't say funny. I'd say it's sort of chucklesome, amusing, kind of wry. Didn't have a massive lasting effect on me, but I had a good time. A lot of people haven't. I've had a good time with this movie.
Yeah. I like that it sounds strange and weird. When watching the trailer for it, I was like, this looks weird and out there. I don't really need to know much more apart from it's a character who's dying in this strange sci-fi world, and that really appealed to me. Somebody said when we did our top 6 actors,
yes.
Somebody said they think that Robert Pattinson should have been included in that. And while I was like, you've actually got a really good point there, I feel like when we were articulating what make us the top 6, we were like, it's like a quality that makes them sort of slightly newer, whereas Robert Pattinson's a little bit more established. And
he's also
like
a bit older.
A bit older. He's obviously still young, but I was like, he of all the established actors would fight to be in that top 6 because he's Batman and he still does really great independent work. It's varied and interesting, like the other actors we mentioned in that.
And watching his performance in Mickey 17, I was just like, yeah, he's a great actor who happened to have been in like Twilight and stuff at the beginning. And he really is, we've just got to make sure we completely see it the other way. We've known this for a while now, obviously with his work with Robert Eggers and the Safdies and stuff. But
his post-Twilight stuff was chosen really well.
Yeah, it really is a great role. And I love how strange the film is. I love how strange his character is. I enjoyed it. I had a really good time with it. I did get a bit uncomfortable in my screening because it's the West End venue where we saw Gladiator 2.
Oh yeah.
And maybe I'm getting older. But after 2 hours,
not comfy
it's 2 hours
seats.
15. It might have run on a bit longer as well. It's 2 hours 15. Maybe it could have done it 2 hours. But I like it, and I think we should support it. And one last thing. People talk about. He touched on these ideas in Snowpiercer and films like that. Snowpiercer got butchered by Harvey Weinstein and didn't really get an international release, okay? It was in the US and it got trickled out word of mouth, and then eventually it got remade into a TV show. But Snowpiercer is also a really good movie with Chris Evans and Tilda Swinton and John Hurt. Also, it's just, I can't describe it. There are just moments that are just really strange. Characters, are buffoon-like and cartoonish, and I love it. There's a great central dinner sequence that I think is really funny and great and mean. And that's the thing, underneath all of the kind of funniness and madness, there is this kind of nasty, dark cruelty. Nice. You're killing a human life every time, and I really find that interesting. Anyway, that was Mickey 17.
Tom writes in, Mickey 17, and says, hello, gents. Hope you're both sensational. Myself and my fiance went to see Mickey 17 yesterday, and I'm already keen to hear your thoughts, but ahead of time, wanted to share my own views on the film. While certainly different from my expectations, I had a great time at the cinema. Bong Joon-ho did a fine job of commenting on the current political state of America in the form of ultra sci-fi film. With while Robert Pattinson continues to develop as an actor, pushing his cringe-inducing pale vampire past ever closer to the cycler incinerator in our minds. Starting off on the snowy bed of Niflheim, the film did take a while to warm up the political commentary, feeling a little bit been there, done that, reminding me of Don't Look Up with Mark Ruffalo's cretinous cult leader Kenneth Marshall, feeling like an opposite of Mark Rylance's Peter Isherwell and Meryl Streep's President Orlean. Nevertheless, the film... Yeah, forget Mark Rylance is in there.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, the film did manage to keep me compelled, with a highlight being the dinner scene towards the middle, which had me in hysterics, evoking memories of the kidnapping scene from now Best Picture winner Anora.
Oh, yeah.
I think some moviegoers may be disappointed if their expectations are another Parasite, but I'd really admire what Bong Joon-ho has done in valiantly making this his follow-up. He had captured lightning in a bottle, and rather than trying to do the same again, he's decided to take Warner Brothers' money, along with a great cast, and make something a little zany that stands apart from his back catalogue and can be respected in its own right, with interesting ideas and themes that progresses from being more than here's Batman with a silly voice being killed progressively in amusing ways. Excited to see where Mr. Joon-ho goes from here. Look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thanks for reading. Kindest regards, Tom.
Yeah, you know what? The more I think about it, having just talked about it and hearing that email, I stand by it. I liked Mickey 17.
Yeah.
And would you think
I'm definitely going to want to watch
it?
it. I've just been away, and I'll report back. But yeah, no, Mickey 17. As always, guys, if you had thoughts, just like Tom, you wanted to send them in, you can, of course, send us your thoughts, your questions, your concerns, your reviews to hello@popkitchenpodcast.com. So do that, please, when you've seen it. George, should we go through some of the emails that we get sent into the show every single week? As always, guys, if you want to send your thoughts, your questions, your concerns, your reviews, you can do by emailing them in.
You just collapsed all the spaces.
To hello@popkitchenpodcast.com. Or you can support us on the VIP tier on Patreon and have priority access to have your email read out on the show. Gazal writes in, I apologise if I've not pronounced your name properly, says, hello, James and George, and of course, George and James. Long-time listener, second-time emailer here.
Hello.
I write to you on the morning of March 3rd. The Oscars have been handed out a few hours ago. I didn't watch the show because of the time difference, but I was so glad to wake up to the news of Anora's great success, and also both Adrian Brody's and Kieran Culkin's wins, since they are both two of my favourites. Truthfully, I was so happy to see that Emilia Perez didn't get any awards, or as Zoe Saldana is calling it, it's Emilia Perez. Go and check out our episode where we sort of caught up on Emilia Perez.
I'm just happy we never have to talk about that film again.
It's rubbish. And even though I might seem so evil, I was also kind of relieved Chalamet didn't win Best Actor. As George mentioned a few episodes ago, I feel like we've been overexposed to him. He is a great... Did I say that?
I think you probably said that, yeah.
I feel like we've been overexposed to him. He is a great actor, but for 4 years now, I don't know if he's in movies because he's good or because he's just the hottest trending actor. It's both.
Yeah.
It's both.
It's cyclical. He's hot and he's good, and then he's good and he's hot.
I mean,
he is a good actor.
I'm like, yeah, you're still very good.
Yeah.
You're still very good.
Still very good actor, yeah.
So hot right now, so good right now. Still, I look very much forward to seeing A Complete Unknown after hearing your review. Exactly. Yeah, I think watch that and you'll go, yeah, this guy can act. Also, I loved Conclave, which sadly did not get any major awards last night. Sorry for the rant. Best to you both. Gazal from Tehran. Do you think that maybe because...
Conclave won Best Adapted Screenplay.
It did. But do you think that because the situation...
With the Pope,
as we record...
No, because voting had finished like 2 weeks before.
You don't think they did? conclave is happening right now. Thank you so much. We just caught up on the Oscars in our latest episode of Double Take, which is available to you if you subscribe to us on Patreon. So go and check that out. We just reacted quickly to the speeches, the awards,
and we also talked about the money that goes into an Oscar campaign. About a producer of Anora revealed how much how much it cost to do the Oscar campaign which was basically more than the actual.
So go and check that out for more film news. We talk about Thunderbolts. We talk about Netflix spending loads of money, Quiet Place sequels, all that and more in this week's Double Take. So go and check that out.
This next email is from Jimena, who writes in about I'm Still Here, which is the Brazilian Best Picture nominee and now Best International Feature winner from this year's Oscars, which I reviewed last week. Jimena writes in and says, "Hi, George and James and George. Me again, this time with a more positive review. As I continue making my way through the Oscar-nominated films, I've watched I'm Still Here. Now that's how you tell a story about violence. I went in almost blind." Sorry. It's funny phrasing. Where am I? Why can't you tell me where we're going?
Finding the seat. Just
It's very dark in here. Silly joke. The story for the very first scene, the story grabbed my attention. Credit where it's due. The adorable dog steals the opening moment. Yes, there's a dog in the opening. But beyond that, following the Pavia families as they negotiated life under Brazil's military dictatorship was deeply unsettling in the best, most intentional way. Even in moments of celebration like their house parties, an underlying tension was always present. Their joy was laced with fear, making it painfully clear that something wasn't right. Eunice's character development was especially brilliant, watching her endure the trauma of her husband's kidnapping, only to find the strength to move forward and seek a better future for her family, was incredible. The film beautifully captured the resilience and struggles of Latin American society during a time of brutal dictatorship and powerful social movements. I left the cinema with a knot in my stomach. The closing image, and the film never explicitly stated that it was based on a true story. And then when it's sort of revealed in the credits, it took my breath away. It was masterfully told, and the ending was the perfect emotional peak. I cried, I felt anxious, I was uncomfortable, and I believe that's exactly what the movie set out to achieve. This is how you tell a story about violence in a respectful, impactful way. The filmmakers clearly did their research, ensuring the story was not only compelling but also truthful and meaningful. At the same time, I can see why this film might not be for everyone. It's emotionally intense, and the pacing is slower than some might expect, but in my opinion, that works in its favour. It allows the weight of the story to settle in, making each moment feel more real, highly aided by the cinematography, which is breathtaking. The use of warm natural lighting makes the film feel intimate, almost like a memory unfolding before your eyes. Jimena, what a wonderful film analysis you've got going here. Overall, I'm Still Here is a film that stays with you long after the credits roll. It's powerful, beautiful, crafted well, and emotionally devastating in the best way possible. I'm writing this in bed, hours after watching it, and my stomach is still in knots. Take a Gaviscon. Yes. This one is going to stay with me for a while. Hope you enjoyed this film as much as I did. Sorry if there are some spoilers here, but I really wanted to share my thoughts. There are no spoilers there. I've skipped over them. Thank you for your amazing work. I'm still here, listening every week. All the best, Jimena. P.S. I just want to say, thank you for reading my email before. I got so excited when I heard my name mentioned and correctly pronounced.
Jimena.
Literal giggles. Living in the UK with an unusual name is a real struggle. Everyone calls me something different. So even when I try to explain the pronunciation. So I really, really appreciate you taking the time to say it right. Thank you. You're welcome, Jimena. Yes, that's I'm Still Here. Very well summed up there. I have nothing more to add.
When we clipped your review and put it out online, which I don't feel like was, we weren't lifting like an extreme part of your review.
No.
Some people commented, because you liked it, but you had some reservations.
Yeah.
People were like, because you haven't been a victim of violence and oppression, you therefore wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
Because some people feel very strongly about the film for all of the reasons that they like it.
But some people also
but
also some Brazilian audience people were like, you got it, you totally understand the movie. Yeah, this movie's beautiful. I'm like, people just take what they want, don't they?
This next one's from Ryan. He says, hello again, lads. He says, This next one's from Ryan. He says, hello again, lads. Watched the pod on YouTube for the first time last week, and it really is a different experience.
It is. James is wearing a hat this week. He's never done that before.
The hat, James.
He's Kevin Feige.
I needed to do it. It really feels a lot more personal being able to see you guys, so I do suggest, fellow Sirens, to watch when you can. Guys, we make a video every week. So if you want to watch, we're here.
I think even if you're listening, let's say on Spotify, you could just open it just for a second to get a cheeky little look.
Because on Spotify it plays the video usually automatically unless you have a different setting. So yeah, guys, there is a video. Unfortunately, do you think someone's never watched? Must be.
Maybe. Maybe.
I bet somebody's never watched.
They might have their settings off and they have no interest in knowing what
They
we
look at
look
the
like.
thumbnail and be like, which one do you think?
Oh my God.
George
They're
is?
like, those aren't those voices. Those aren't the faces that those voices come from.
Yeah.
Anyway.
In episode 79, the movie. Unfortunately, for new releases, no new releases for me this week. But I've been slowly making my way through your older episodes, and I started listening at EP 130 and haven't missed a week since. George, EP 130. What do you think that is?
Oh, good question,
Find out. I'm
James.
going to consult the archives.
Hold on.
EP 130 is. I have it here.
Okay, EP 130 was that Bad Boys for Life?
No.
Okay, was that
you're one off? You are one off.
Because I think I edited it. Is it The Acolyte?
No.
Is it? Hang on. Is it Furiosa?
Yes. Furiosa. Good, big episode.
Yes.
That would have got people in. Sorry, just find that interesting. Where's my Google machine? There it is. Haven't missed a week since. Thank you. And thank you for going back to listen. That's great.
Yeah.
In episode 79, the movie Reality was discussed as it really piqued my interest with how you both described it. I put it on that night and I'll say I'm very glad I did. The idea of using the transcript of the actual audio recording as the movie script is something I've personally not seen before and I found it very interesting. Just quickly, this is the Sydney Sweeney film about reality winner. It's best not to know too much about it, but what they said about the script being true to the dialogue in the film is really interesting.
Yeah.
And talking about it, it's an interesting film to try and explain to people for a review.
It's hard. It's like it's 79 minutes, something really short, but it's verbatim theatre in a way.
One of the best like sleeper hits for us.
It was really underrated.
in that
We
year.
really liked that film.
Go and check out Reality, and like showing Sydney Sweeney in a completely different light. So go and check that out. Who's got to put his phone? Interesting. The movie kept me in suspense throughout, and I had constant theories floating about in my head about what it was actually about. Sydney's acting kept making me flip between thinking that she knew what she had done and thinking she had no idea what was happening. Alongside this, the FBI the entire time seemed timid as to not want to make her uncomfortable as a lone woman surrounded by a bunch of men, but also at the same time seemed to be on edge and very concerned that she could do something at any moment. Those together kept me on my toes and fully engaged throughout a film that was really quite a slow burn and only set in one small location. Also, 83-minute runtime. With like the sort of energy. Thanks for another great suggestion. All the best, Ryan. Ryan, yeah, like you're reminding me why
it was a really good movie.
So much subtext. You don't really know what's happening until the very end. So many different things could be happening at once. You're just sort of like along for the ride. Reality.
Also, it's one of those things where like I do understand it's a bit of a hard sell in that a film called Reality sounds like a science fiction film, but it's just, you're right, it was just her name.
Her name is just Reality. It's just one of those strange names.
And this final email is from Nathan, who writes in with saying, "Silence! Boys, enjoyed your pod talking about Martin Scorsese's best movies. Please see previous. It wasn't an numbered episode, but it was on the feed.
It's on the feed.
We took one of the Owens film lists and we made a whole thing about Martin Scorsese's top films.
We gave it its own episode.
We gave it its own little special.
Pretty big director.
Yeah, you might have heard of him.
Yeah.
Enjoyed your pod talking about Martin Scorsese's best movies, and since you basically asked for it, here I am telling you that I love Silence.
You answered the call. We said if anyone does like Silence,
we
would
weren't
like to
saying that Silence was a bad film. We were just like, it's not in our top Scorsese's and we will never watch it again.
It's a chore.
Yeah.
It's a chore. Again, go and check out that episode.
I don't think much was said to challenge how well made this film is.
Yes.
It's just the suggestion that it's not as enjoyable as a watch as a lot of the other movies. I can't argue with that. It's certainly not as marketable as Goodfellas, The Departed, or The Wolf of Wall Street. But I think Silence's unwavering focus and showing a man of great faith have everything thrown at him in the most brutal, miserable ways and battle to keep his faith alive is masterful. I guess it's not designed to be an enjoyable watch, but an affecting one. I know that's not what everyone is looking for, but I can appreciate a movie much more if it forces me to consider the big questions rather than just entertaining me. Some movies do both, but very few to a high standard. I'm a practicing Christian myself, and I understand that's a big reason Silence connects with me so well, but I know others can still appreciate and love it regardless of beliefs or worldview. It's my second favourite Scorsese, but writing this inspired me to do a rewatch. There might be 1 or 2 days this year when I'm in the right mood. Keep fighting the good fight. Lots of love, Nate.
I'd like to think he's writing it like soking wet under a
Yeah,
bush
under
in
some
Japan.
bamboo.
So like a foot of mud. No, it's not. He doesn't make badly made films. It's not like, I don't know, something Soderbergh made recently, which is like badly made. Nice, interesting. I love that we put out the call. Someone came back and said, well, I'd like to defend it. It just evens it out a bit. We feel quite hard on one way. Yeah. Someone's going to come back and be, well, consider this.
You
heathens. Guys, thank you so much for sending us your emails. As always, don't forget, you can send in yours by sending them in to hello@pulpkitchenpodcast.com. We'd love to hear your reviews on the films as they come out. We'll read them on the show. So do that.
James, as ever, Pulp Kitchen ends
with a game.
And we are returning to a old favourite here. James, a few weeks ago, you took the film opposites game and twisted it into TV opposites, where you took a TV show name and made it loosely an opposite, and we had to guess what it was. And I've done the same for you today.
Fantastic.
I've taken many TV shows and I'm going to ask you to guess them. So, for example, if I said enemies, the answer would be
Friends.
There you go. There is no opposite of Seinfeld, is what I found.
You tried. You
I
really
tried.
Went, what's a feld? If I'm felding something,
Well, in the 13th century, a feld used to refer to this.
There's so many words. Like if you go on my Google history and you type a film, it's like antonym or opposite of Armageddon. What is the opposite of an Armageddon? Anyway, it's quite hard, isn't it?
A revelation, maybe? Like it's like if an Armageddon is
Revelation
like,
would be like discover, like opposite of discover.
or like in a biblical sense,
Yeah.
revelation.
This is
Maybe
what
you
I
have
think
to
about it. I'll be on the tube and I'll just be like, what is opposite? Sorry. Anyway.
No, it's fine. So, James, and for those listening at home, please play along. I'm going to read out the opposite title of a TV show, and you have to tell me what it is. James, are you ready?
Born ready.
Guess the TV show from its opposite title. Ordinary Objects.
Stranger Things.
Correct. Recruitment.
Losses. Recruitment. Unemployable. Recruitment. The Office.
If you're letting people go.
Redundancy.
Severance.
Ah, yes, very good.
Strange Animals.
Normal people.
Yes, well done. Growing.
Shrinking.
Yes. Purple Shirts.
Purple shirts.
Yes.
Orange trousers. No, it's not purple. It would be green. No, what's the opposite of purple?
Yellow Jackets.
Yellow jackets. Okay.
Purple Wood.
Yellow metal. Yellow glass.
A mineral.
Yellow.
Me in a cowboy hat.
Yellowstone.
Yes.
Yes. Very good.
The Bad Area.
The Good Place.
Yes. Monday Morning Breakfast.
Monday morning breakfast is Friday night dinner.
Yes. The Accounting Individual.
Okay. Something collective community that no.
Yeah.
The accounting individual.
Yes.
The no, go on.
The IT crowd.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good.
Tofu.
A beef.
Yes. Worser Email Paul.
What's the email? Okay, so Better Call Saul.
Yes. The King's Precaution.
The Queen's Gambit.
Yes. Brain Starter.
Brain starter. Something finisher. Ender.
So close.
Brain
You don't start something, you...
Stop it.
Yes.
The brain stop. The game stop.
No, but it's opposite of brain.
Opposite of brain would
Something
be
stop. Heart stopper.
a heart stopper. Oh, okay, yeah.
2 years.
2 years.
Yes.
At 1 day.
Yes.
Yes.
Me.
You.
Yes.
Yes. There we go.
You did it.
Fantastic. Oh, that was good.
Pretty good there, James. Pretty good.
You're like
I have to
opposite
say.
of brain. There is no opposite. Of
I just
brain.
thought heart.
God,
is
it's
like-
the opposite of brain.
No, I know. It's like,
I was thinking foot, the feet.
I mean, a logical answer. I just thought heart because it's like an emotional, not
Yeah,
cerebral.
yeah.
Well done,
Very
James.
good.
You did very
Oh,
well
they're
there
really
for your
good
TV
fun.
opposites. How did you guys do at home?
I liked the emailing pool.
Yes.
That was great. Yeah.
Worser email Paul. And also, I'm proud of that because you can literally back up the Paul to Saul thing because that's biblical.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Saul
cool,
converted
cool.
to Paul
Yeah, there
on the
you
road
go.
to Damascus.
Very good.
I'm not religious, but I remember it from school.
I need to get a bloody colour chart up for this game and just like start lining up.
Purple is the opposite of yellow. Blue is the opposite of orange. Red is the opposite of green.
Thank you.
And
Christmas.
yeah, that's why complementary colours. So if it's an opposite colour, it's also a complementary colour. So people who wear blue and orange, it's a nice colour combination.
Yes.
You're basically wearing green and pink today, which is basically complementary colours because they're very closely opposite on the colour wheel.
Turn on the video. And that's why most colour grading in films is teal and orange. Teal tends to be
Yeah, exactly.
faces, and then shadows will be brought into the blues.
It's
and
a nice
pleasing
little-
to the eye.
There you go.
That was great. Really good fun.
You're welcome. That was episode 171 of Pulp Kitchen. Stay tuned, though, this week, because I'm going to be dropping a review of Incendies or Incendie. Denis Villeneuve. I think I have to say Incendies, because Incendie also makes me sound like I'm saying 1, 2, 3 in a sort of made-up language. But also, I am English, and it's Incendies. So I'm just
Yeah.
going to say Incendies.
There's a line when you should pronounce it right, and sometimes you just take a step back and
Yeah.
go, do you know what? I'll just Incendies.
It's Incendies. So if you want to hear the review of Denis Villeneuve's French language film before he made blockbuster English language movies.
Do they say the word incendie in
No.
incendie?
No, it's
they don't say,
written.
so you can't even go,
No.
yeah, right.
No,
there you go.
but I assume, it would be Incendie.
Yeah.
But I I'm not going to say that.
Denis, very strong, gorgeous French accent. He would like.
Denis, those one thought. Denis has a very strong. Are you saying Denis has a gorgeous French accent?
Denis will say it.
Or are you saying Denis Villeneuve, gorgeous man, has a French accent?
His gorgeous French accent. He would say it. Ensemble.
Absolutely. So check out that on the feed later this week. And don't forget, of course, as well, if you subscribe to Patreon, you can get our exclusive show, Double Take, where we talked about, as we said, the Oscars reaction, the Anora marketing spend to get that Oscar win. And we also talked about Thunderbolts' new teaser trailer. Very different marketing approach to trailer. Netflix's, big budget. And the most successful, highest grossing animated film of all time. It's not one which you think. Absolutely.
And if you subscribe this month, you get access to, or this week, you get access to every episode ever made of Double Take. And you can listen to our reactions to like news from months ago. But I actually think it's good.
Yeah, it's fun. If you hear us want to like really badly call what like something might be.
Yeah.
If you want, do you know what? There is an episode of Double. Do you know what's a great Double Take to go back and listen to is about September time last year when the Venice Film Festival happened, and we're going, there's a movie called The Brutalist, which is 3.5 hours long, and that's when like Queer and The Room Next Door and The Order were also being talked about, and none of those broke through in the end. No. Anyway, have a great week, guys. We'll be back next week. Stay well. Thank you as ever to our producers, Finn and Dave. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.